A very good morning to all. So we have started the chapter, our nervous system, and today we are going to discuss a new topic that is about reflex action. So first of all, what is the meaning of reflex? So what is this reflex? So reflex means it is the opposite action to a stimulus. So what is reflex? It is the opposite action to a stimulus. Then what is a reflex action? It is a quick response to a stimulus is called reflex action. The quick response to a stimulus is called reflex action. So you may all think, what is the stimulus? So what is stimulus? So something that produces an action or response, that is called as the stimulus. Something that produces an action or response, that is the stimulus. So let me give you an example to make this more clear. So when you touch a hot object, you feel the heat, and what happens? You suddenly withdraw your hand from that hot object, right? So here, what is the stimulus? Touching the hot object is the stimulus, and taking back or withdrawing your hand from the hot object, that is the reflex action or the quick response. Okay, so let's see how this works. So when we touch a hot object, we have the sensory nerves, right? So the sensory nerves in our fingers sends a message. It sends a message to the brain and the spinal cord. Then what happens? The brain and the spinal cord produces a response. It produces a response to take back our hand from the hot object. And this message is carried by the motor nerves to our fingers. So this is how it works. So let me give you one more example. You can take page number 102 in your textbook, and we have one more example there. So when you step on a thorn, what happens? If you accidentally step on a thorn, you feel the pain. So here, the nerves on your foot sends a message to the spinal cord. Then what happens? The spinal cord produces a response to the foot, and you take back your foot away from the thorn. So what is the stimulus here? So the stimulus here is stepping on the thorn. And what is the quick response or the reflex action here? That is taking back your foot from the thorn. That is the quick response or the reflex action. So the next thing is that some reflex action directly involve brain. For example, the blinking of eyes. So blinking of eyes when something moves close to your eyes. So here the reflex action involving the brain. Now let's discuss about sense organs. So how many sense organs do we have? You all know we have 5 sense organs. So which are the 5 sense organs? Eyes, ears, nose, tongue and skin. And do you know which is the largest sense organ? So the largest sense organ is our skin. So today we are going to learn about the first sense organ, that is eyes. So let's see how it works. So eyes. Eyes helps us to see. So each eyeball is safely set in the bony socket in the skull. And how do we see these objects? So when we see an object, the light from that object falls into our lens. Okay. Then an image is created. An image is formed in our retina. Then what happens? This image is converted into a message. Then what happens? The sensory nerves carries this message to the brain. Then what happens? The brain produces a response. It produces a response that helps us to recognize what the object is. So this is how we are able to see object. So the nerves in our eyes, the sensory nerves sends a message to the brain, and the brain produces a response that helps us to recognize what the object is. So that is about our first sense organ, eyes. In page number 102, there is a box given. A road accident can easily damage the brain. So we all know that brain is one of the most important organ of our body. Any injury or damage to our brain can affect the entire functioning of the body. So even a small damage to the brain can cause death. So what you need to remember is, it is therefore we should always wear a helmet when we drive a two-wheeler. Okay. So I hope you all understood about the class, about this topic, that is about reflex action and about the sense organ, eyes. So in the coming class, we'll be discussing about the remaining sense organs. So till then, thank you.